Caregiving can sometimes feel like an impossible struggle. Caregivers may be torn between taking care of loved ones and trying to maintain balance in life. The good news is that it doesn't have to be that way. The Caring Generation with host Pamela D. Wilson is here to focus on the conversation of caring. You're not alone. In fact, you're in exactly the right place to share stories and learn tips and resources to help you and your loved ones. So now, please welcome the host of the Caring Generation, Pamela D. Wilson.
This is Pamela D. Wilson, caregiving expert, speaker, consultant, and guardian of the Caring Generation. The Caring Generation focuses on the conversation of caring, giving us permission to talk about aging, the challenges of caregiving, and everything in between. It's no surprise that needing care or becoming a caregiver changes everything. The Caring Generation is here to guide you along the journey and let you know that you're not alone. You're in exactly the right place. Thank you to the caregivers and persons who share the struggles they experience with me by completing the contact form on my website at PamelaDWilson.com. These stories and questions become the topics for this podcast, videos, articles, and blog posts that I create. If you have a question or an idea for a future program, go to my website, PamelaDWilson.com, click on the Contact Me button, and complete the contact form or caregiver survey. Welcome to episode 197 and the beginning of year 6 for the Caring Generation podcast. The format for this year is take 15 actionable tips and helpful insights in about 15 minutes. This week's discussion is family dynamics, how to balance family and aging parent care needs. I'll share why family dynamics are complex, how to communicate with family members, and how parents teach children communication styles in families, how to separate caregiver concerns from the wishes of aging parents, and most of all, how to minimize uncomfortable, unproductive, or disagreeable interactions with family members. Let's begin with family dynamics. In today's world, a family might be an original family, or it might be a blended family, meaning separated, divorced, widowed, or uncoupled parents coming together with another individual in a similar situation who has children and an extended family. Now, depending on the age when this happens, children under 18 or children over 18, the family dynamics can be night and day different. It's one thing to grow up in a household as a young child with blended brothers and sisters versus having a parent die or divorce and remarry long after you've moved out of the house or halfway across the country. You have your family, your career, and your life. In these cases, there may be little or no regular contact with your new brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, or grandparents. So when we look at family dynamics today, much of this depends on the parent's leadership style, meaning example setting, communication, getting family members together, a parent's character, their values, and preferences for family interactions. Family dynamics can also depend on family culture. So this can be quite complicated. For example, in my family, we spent a lot of time with aunts, uncles, cousins, and grandparents on my mother's side. My father's brother died at an early age, and his sister did not have children. By the time I was born, my father's parents had died, and they had no siblings who would have been my aunts and uncles on my father's side. Now, I was fortunate, I was blessed to have only one set of parents who were amazing people. My family situation, though, was very different from my friends and the culture of their families, in addition to the caregivers and older adults that I consult with today and their families. Then let's talk about family communication. Parents model communication styles for children. Ask yourself, if there was a disagreement in your family, how was that handled? Was there open communication about all topics? Money, health, work, day-to-day activities, individual family responsibilities, sex, other topics. Was respect for different opinions a part of your internal and external family values? Or were there a lot of instances of, shh, we don't talk about that? Children learn from parents and then go to school, maybe college, get jobs, create careers, have families. All of these add to life experiences that make adult children into the people they are today. Just as parents have a life of experience beyond having children that make them who they are today. Is it any wonder that adult children and parents disagree when they come back together due to health emergencies or crisis and becoming involved in caregiving relationships? When looking at family communication about aging and an eventual need for the care of aging parents, these conversations rarely happen until some event forces the discussion. The reality is that growing older means change, including change that may not be pleasant. Health diagnosis, complications, physical or mental limitations due to illnesses or accidents. Life is wonderful. It's also filled with unexpected circumstances that happen with age. An ideal situation specific to aging would be to initiate conversations in families when parents are between 40 to 50 years old. While this may sound young, having conversations earlier instead of later allows for a longer runway for health discussions and financial planning, both topics that families find very difficult to discuss before and after something happens when emotions are at an all-time high. There's a significant benefit for children who may be in their 20s or 30s to begin considering what can and might happen later in life and what information they can pass along to their children. In my opinion, caregiving is a generational issue. Parents are caregivers for children. Adult children become caregivers for parents. Spouses become caregivers for spouses, and all of us are caregivers for ourselves. The earlier we learn about how to take good care of ourselves from a health, well-being, financial, and life planning perspective, the smoother life will be. Let's go, though, with the more common scenario. None of these conversations happened. Mom or dad or a husband or wife have health problems that result in frequent visits to the doctor, taking medications, a lot of them, and physical limitations, meaning they can't do everything they once did, so now they need help. As a result, you are in a caregiving role whether you want to be or not. How do you navigate these family dynamics with the caregiver, care receiver relationship and with all the other people in your family? Adult children, siblings, aunts, uncles, grandparents, friends of your parents. Part of this will depend on the closeness of your ongoing relationship with your family members. Some caregivers, specifically adult children, tell me that there is no one to help. Their siblings don't help even though they want updates about mom and dad. Their aunts and uncles want updates instead of talking with their siblings who are the caregiver's mother or father. This can seem crazy, right? Family members who don't talk to family members. How can all of these people who are family members want to go through the caregiver instead of talking directly to the person who needs care, which actually would be easier and more respectful? This happens because of family dynamics. Little disagreements that happen over the years that were never resolved that grow into major things that people can't even remember. All they remember is, I don't like Uncle Joe because something happened years ago and I can't remember what it was. Or, we don't talk to Sally and that family because something happened years ago. Sibling rivalries happen. Children growing up and apart who have different priorities and values happen. In families that are not close-knit, those who don't see each other on a regular basis, communications and these gaps grow wider. While in other families, they may not see each other or have ongoing conversations, but they didn't have prior disagreements. These amazing families come together happily and help out when needs arise. There's no perfect family situation. There's also no reason to be embarrassed if you don't have a perfect family. The important consideration for caregivers is to think about how you will balance and manage difficult family dynamics, relationships, and conversations. The first relationship to manage is the immediate caregiving relationship. Do you have a good relationship with the person you care for? Not all children like their parents, even though they accept the role of a caregiver. They love their parents. So the first priority is to talk about what a parent wants for care versus how the adult child caregiver can help. Don't jump in and start taking over a parent's life or doing too much. This can result in one of two things: a parent becoming resistant or stubborn, which you may learn to appreciate later, or two, allowing you to do everything, creating a relationship of total dependence on the caregiver. Many caregivers I know become overly helpful and then complain that they are burdened by all of the responsibilities they willingly took on. The goal in any caregiving relationship is to help the people you care for to do as much for themselves as long as possible. Don't take away a loved one's independence, support it. The second relationship to manage may be with your siblings who are involved or not. Have a family meeting. Talk openly about which siblings can help and how, or cannot help. If siblings can't help, accept their decision and move on. There's no point about being angry about what a sibling can or cannot do. However, as the primary caregiver, set a boundary. If siblings are not willing to help, they don't get to judge what you do, and they don't get to make suggestions. If they make a suggestion, tell them that you would be thrilled if they would carry that through. You don't have time, and you don't have more effort to give. If they have questions, send them directly to mom or dad. The same goes for extended family, which can be the third relationship to manage. I recently had a caregiver who said that it was their responsibility to give updates to aunts and uncles. My question is, why take on this responsibility? Place the responsibility where it belongs. Tell your parents, brothers, and sisters that they can pick up the phone, send an email, text, or visit your parents in person to receive updates. Never become a middleman or a middlewoman for family communication unless there is a family agreed upon system or process for this. For example, you invite everyone to an in-person or virtual family meeting that you set the frequency: weekly, twice a month, monthly, quarterly. You have an agenda. You agree to send out a reminder to everyone to attend. Now, the goal here is no one-to-one communication. Everybody receives the same information and has the same opportunity to participate. One-to-one communication drains a caregiver's time. Stop adding more work to your already busy schedule. And finally, family dynamics and communication can easily veer off track to become unproductive or disagreeable. You can also agree to send an email update to family, but it's limited to 3 things. Have mom and dad experienced any changes? Would they love to hear from you? And a third question. As a caregiver, focus on the priorities, which are the needs and desires of the person who receives care. What does mom or dad or a spouse want? Honor their wishes even if you disagree. This is not to say that there should not be ongoing discussions that offer options, information, and education so that good decisions can be made. This should happen. However, we all live with the consequences of the choices we make every day. The circumstances of life today are the result of choices, good or bad, made a week ago, a month ago, 3 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. We cannot change the past. We can, to some degree, change the future or how we look at the future. Many health diagnoses for aging parents, if left undiagnosed or ignored too long, can't be changed. Heart disease, diabetes, COPD, physical injuries may be manageable, but not improvable. So what happens when you are a caregiver in the middle, who takes on refereeing family members who want to offer unsolicited advice but not help. Or family members who cannot help themselves from interfering. God bless them. The best thing that you can do is to learn to set boundaries and ground rules. Focus on the issues and the desires of the person who needs care instead of the emotions of everyone else wanting information, giving recommendations, interfering. As a caregiver, it's easy to be pulled emotionally into family dynamics, disagreements, drama, and unproductive conversations that become toxic. Identify interactions or discussions that trigger your emotions and come up with a plan to respond. Identify when you feel tired, irritable, resentful, or angry, and don't respond when you're in one of these states. Don't pick up the phone. Don't respond to an email. Wait until you feel better. Delay or reschedule conversations. You're a busy caregiver. You don't have to offer more of an explanation if you're having a bad day or something that someone said triggered your emotions. Don't read minds or assume people can read yours. Be direct in your communication. Say, I need to delay this conversation. I'm happy to revisit it. Let's talk tomorrow. If you have a difficult topic to discuss, timing can be everything. Rather than dropping heavy information on someone, wait for the right or a better time. Be honest about initiating difficult conversations. It's okay to say, this is uncomfortable for me to talk about. Can we talk about this factually and set our emotions aside? Thank people for discussing uncomfortable or deep topics. And remember to create time for you, self-care or playtime, whatever that means. Walk your dog, get lost in a TV documentary, go see a movie, take a nap. Balancing family dynamics around the care for loved ones doesn't mean setting your life aside. It means finding the right balance between helping and encouraging others to help themselves and to communicate honestly, maturely, and openly. I thank you so much for being here. This is episode 197, Family Dynamics. Visit my website, PamelaDWilson.com, for all of the Caring Generation episodes and show transcripts that may include links or references to studies or other information. Share this podcast with everyone you know so that we can extend the support, education, and love that so many caregivers and the people who receive care need. I'm Pamela D. Wilson, caregiving expert, advocate, and speaker. I look forward to being with you again soon. God bless you all. Sleep well tonight. Have a fabulous day tomorrow, and enjoy each day until we are here together again.
Tune in each week for The Caring Generation with host Pamela D. Wilson. Come join the conversation and see how Pamela can provide solutions and peace of mind for everyone. Here on Pamela D. Wilson's The Caring Generation.